What is up? What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sorry for joining a little bit late, but we do have a fantastic show for you all to hop in on, guys. We are talking WNBA trade deadline. Guys, the trade deadline was yesterday, and there's a lot of stuff. There's some stuff that happened, decent amount of stuff that happened. And I have sort of learnings from you all to tell you all in terms of who ended up going where, what teams decided to make trades, what teams did not, and what ultimately this means for the rest of the season, and also what this means for the franchise as a whole for the next couple of years. So we are going to go team by team. This is going to be a very deep dive into the WNBA trade deadline, which was yesterday. So the WNBA trade deadline this year was Tuesday, August 20th. And this was a time where teams, you had an opportunity to make your decision. If you want to trade for somebody, you had to do it by yesterday, the 20th. And we saw a couple of trades, but not too much activity that happened yesterday. And we are going to talk about it. Okay, so what I want to do is I actually want to break this out into two segments. But first, I do see a super chat here. Thank you so much, Philip, for the super chat. Says we'll catch the replay. All right. Well, shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to the replay gang. And before we actually get started, I do want to say thank you so much to you all who support this channel. Also, thank you to the awesome people on Patreon who are actively supporting this channel every single month. Patreon folks, we about to do something, okay? We about to have a hangout pretty soon. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me and for your continued support of this channel. It is so very much appreciated. As we go through this, if y'all could please do me a huge favor and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, that would be absolutely fantastic. Because guys, we are going to do a deep dive into every single team in the WNBA, every single team. Guys, I know that there's a lot of y'all who may not know what's going on with some of the teams in the W, but we are going to go through it right now. And the way I want to structure this is in terms of winners, losers, and everyone else. That's how I want to structure this, right? This trade deadline, to me, gave us some very clear winners. Some teams that have decided to make the correct move for their franchise, one for this season, but also possibly for like going forward as a franchise, right? We also have some teams who, in my opinion, were a little bit of losers, right? Teams that did not help their cause at all with the trade deadline, and they did not make the decisions that, in my opinion, they probably should have made. We also have everybody else. So we have the everybody else that's sort of like in limbo-ish land, teams that are like, they didn't make a trade, but it's not that big of a deal, that type of thing. So we're going to structure this stream in that fashion, okay? So we have the winners, we have the losers, and we have everybody else. All right, let's get into the winners. Now, for sure, the big winner, in my opinion, is the Seattle Storm. The reason why is, and if you all are like, wait, Seattle didn't trade for anybody, how could they be a winner? Well, they're still a winner. And let me sort of explain my reasoning as to why I have this Seattle Storm team as a winner for the trade deadline. The reason why is because, to me, they were able to pick up the best person on the market, right? So when it came down to it, the player that was exactly the person that they needed, they got Gabby Williams. They signed her yesterday on August the 20th to a rest of the season contract. Now, guys, the thing to know about Gabby Williams is that, one, she's very similar. She's very familiar with what this Seattle Storm team does. And the reason why is because she's played with the with the Seattle Storm for quite a while. And she knows the system. She knows how everything works. And so it makes a lot of sense for her to join this team. One, she's a really good defender. Two, which is sort of the ethos of the Seattle Storm team. The Seattle Storm team is a team that really is all about defense. You know, they're about, if you look at the Seattle Storm, they actually are sort of at the top part of the WNBA when it comes to scoring off of turnovers, when it comes to just sort of defense leading to offense. They're a really good team for that. And I think having a player like a Gabby Williams join your squad, who also is a very defensive-minded player who can kind of play anything, right? Gabby Williams can defend a point guard. She can defend a center. She can kind of do anything. She really can. She can play 1 through 5 and make herself known on the both offensive and defensive end. And so I think this is going to be a huge pickup. Noelle Quinn said that she was thrilled to have Gabby back, and Gabby's a player that sort of gives them the versatile nature that they're sort of looking for. This is a team that, you know, we saw them struggle against Indiana Fever the other day. We saw this team struggle, and I think that was just another sort of thing in Seattle's mind of like, yeah, we need somebody. Like the way that this team is constructed, the way this team is currently constructed, we're not going to be able to win a WNBA championship, which is their goal. Their goal is to win, is to win, right? Making the decision to say, you know what, Gabby Williams, we like her, she likes us. We will agree to her terms, meaning that they had to agree to not core her. Gabby Williams said that she wanted to come back to the WNBA. However, she did not want to be cored. That was her thing. She was like, hey, don't core me. And I'm looking at teams, you know, but I don't want to get cored, because when you get cored, then that sort of hurts her opportunities for possibly getting suspended next season, right? So that means once the season is over, Gabby Williams becomes a unrestricted free agent once again, which for her is really good because she can do a similar thing to what she did this year, where she was an unrestricted free agent. She does not have to worry about getting suspended for the entire season because she arrives late to the WNBA, right? She can wait. Sorry, William, I may have said cord. I meant core, C-O-R-E, core. She did not want to get cored. And basically what that means is then Gabby Williams would wind up being like a restricted free agent of some sort, where she winds up being possibly suspended next year because, again, she's probably going to play overseas. She's going to arrive late. She doesn't want, you know, to get suspended, which are the league rules, right? But if she is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, going into next season, she can then do a similar thing where she joins the team later on and just joins as a regular signee, right? So yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for her to not want to get cored, and which I get it. I absolutely get it, guys. A thing to note is that you know, Gabby Williams, again, she's very familiar with this team, very, very familiar with the Seattle Storm. She's been on the team for a decent amount. She is 27 years old, so she's still very much in her prime playing career, and has been playing really, really well. All right. So yeah, that's the thing to note. She's back with the Seattle Storm, and because Gabby Williams is back, in my opinion, the Seattle Storm are back to being contenders. So when we came into this season, I thought that the Seattle Storm was constructed as a really good roster, right? You had sort of the new new wave of players that joined the team, in NECA and Skylar, and they brought a lot of leadership. They brought a lot of talent, right? You already had Jewel Lloyd, Ezzie Magmagor, Sammy Wickham, and others already on the Seattle Storm team. And as the season has progressed, I've been thinking, I was like, you know what? This team, while this team on paper has a lot of good pieces, they're just missing something to really contend. They're missing something to really contend and to really make some noise in the WNBA playoffs as we head into, the finals and whatnot, right? They had to make some sort of change to have a chance in the playoffs to make it to the finals, and I think that's what they did. The decision to bring in a player like a Gabby Williams, to me, is a game changer. It is an absolute game changer for the squad. The reason why is because now Noelle Quinn, her lineups can be a lot more tighter, right? When we look at the roster of this Seattle Storm team, they're a good squad, right? But they do have players who don't play that much. And making the decision to bring in a player like a Gabby Williams, that now allows you, for the most part, to kind of have a pretty tight lineup of players who are just really, really good at what they do, right? I think the players, for the most part, who are going to play, well, one, you have Gabby Williams, who can possibly start for this team. I think she probably will, sort of in the weeks to come. Right now, for the starting lineup for the Seattle Storm, we have Ezzy McMagor, we have Nneka Ogwumike, we have Jewel Lloyd, Skylar Diggins-Smith, and we have Jordan Horston. That's the starting lineup for the squad. And, the sixth woman that you have is Sammy Whitcomb. Now, making the decision to bring in Gabby Williams, now you have basically a 7-man rotation that is exceptionally good. Right? And this allows for seasoned players on the floor at all times, basically. Yes, you have a player like a Joyner Holmes. Yes, you have a player like a Victoria Vivians and whatnot, but they're not going to play that much, right? And as we go further towards the playoffs, their time in the game is probably going to continue to dwindle down, right? You have Mercedes Russell who can come in and give a little bit of minutes here and there, but for the most part, Gabby Williams coming into this team allows for a very tight 7-man rotation with a possible 8th man in Mercedes Russell. And to me, I think this is genius, and this really does allow this team to be contenders, because if Jordan Horse is having a bad night, if Skylar Diggins-Smith is having a bad night, that's fine. You got Gabby Williams who can come in and make some noise, right? I think it's a smart decision, in my opinion, and this has brought this team back into being contenders. Now, I am very much curious to hear what you all have to say about the Seattle Storm. Do you all think they are back in the contender talk, especially with their decision to sign a player like a Gabby Williams, who is both a offensive and defensive juggernaut? Let me know in the comments. I am very much curious to hear what you all have to say about this. Now, guys, the Seattle Storm was not the only team that decided to make some moves when it came to yesterday, because, guys, we actually saw the Washington Mystics make some significant changes. Now, the Washington Mystics decided to trade their, in my opinion, basically best player in Myisha Hines-Allen, or definitely one of their best players in Myisha Hines-Allen. They also traded away the rights to Kiera Lundqvist, who's a Swedish player, which I'm going to go into who she is more in a little bit, because I actually think that she's a really, really good player. So yeah, we'll talk about more about her in a sec. But the Mystics trade away Myisha Hines-Allen and the rights to Kiera Lundqvist, and in turn they receive Sika Kone, they receive Shook Sutton, and they receive 2 draft picks, the 2025 second and third round pick. All right. So that's what they get. So they trade away some pieces. They get who they get. Now, here's the thing about the Washington Mystics. I have them in the win category. And if you all are like, wait, how in the world are they in their win category? They just traded away the player who was kind of doing much. Like, she was doing a lot for this team. I want to talk through why I actually think that this is a good move for for the Washington Mystics. The reason why I think this is a good move is because I am of the mind that if someone wants, I'm of the mind that I really do think that Myisha Hines-Allen wanted this. I think she wanted to leave. Like, I am very much interested to hear what she has to say. I haven't heard an interview from her since the trade has happened. But I think this is one of those situations where, if someone has an opportunity to do something better for themselves, they want to go somewhere else, let them go, let them be better, let them have more opportunities, and you just sort of build from there. I sort of kind of think that this is possibly that type of situation where, they're getting rid of someone who can actually score them quite a bit of points and whatnot. The thing to know about Myisha Hines-Allen is she is actually averaging 8 points a game so far this season. She averages 8 points a game, almost 5 rebounds a game, 2.7 assists per game. Now, the reason why I think this is a W move for the Washington Mystics is because they have decided that they want to change course, finally, in my opinion, and they are deciding to move on. Myisha Hines-Allen has been with this team since 2018. She was with them when they won the championship. It's time to move on. This is a Washington Mystics team that's trash. They know they're trash. They're okay with being trash. And I think what they are trying to do is basically tank. I think they have decided, you know what? We're not good. It's okay that we're not good. And we are going to move accordingly and focus on the future, right? You still have a player like Ariel Atkins who actually, scratch that, not Myisha Hines-Allen. Ariel Atkins is the best player on the squad. You still have a player like Ariel Atkins with the team and can, at least for the fans, not be that much of a disappointment because she still can absolutely ball. You still have Ariel Atkins. You have, Shakira Austin, who's healthy now, right? You have Brittany Sykes, who is still battles health stuff. You have a player like Stephanie Dolson who can shoot threes and be fun at times. You have players that I think can make it entertaining for fans, for Washington Mystics fans. Let me know, Washington Mystics fans, if y'all agree with that. But so you may have interesting games. You may come close to winning games, but you're not going to win games. And I think that's what they want. Because at the end of the day, they want the games to be fun. They want the games to be interesting. But ultimately, the Washington Mystics want to lose, in my opinion. In my opinion, I think they are looking to tank. I think they're looking to tank, and they are looking for a really, really good draft pick next year. Possibly, well, definitely lottery draft pick, but possibly they're trying to look for that first round, for that first pick. That's what they're trying to do. It is the Paige Bueckers draft next year, and for sure, the Washington Mystics want that. They want it really, really bad, and that's why I believe that this is a W move for them, because they've decided, you know what? Out with the old, in with the new. Let's make ourselves into a team that will compete for the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft for next year. That's what I think this is. That's what I think. That's what I think. But I'm very curious to hear what you all have to say about that, because guys, think about it this way. When the Mystics, at the end of the season, if the Mystics are able to get the number 1 pick, they have a really good squad, right? They have a really good squad. You have, if you are able to get a player like a Paige Bueckers, you already got her bestie in Aaliyah Edwards. You already got Shakira Austin, who is fantastic, especially as she stays healthy. If she can stay healthy, oh, watch out. She's a really good post player, right? You have Ariel Atkins, who's a bona fide scorer. You have Stephanie Dolson, who is sort of like the leader of the squad and sort of a post player who can shoot, right? You have Brittany Sykes, the defensive lockdown player. You have a really, really good squad if they're able to get a player like Paige Bueckers. And so I think that's in my opinion, what they are doing. And that's why I think this is a W. All right. And again, guys, I'm very much curious to hear what you all have to say about this. Do you all think this is a W for the Washington Mystics? Let me know in the comments below. Also, guys, if y'all could please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. We got about 300 people joining, it looks like. If y'all could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, that really does help the channel out a whole lot. Yeah, I really, really, really do appreciate it. All right. Okay, so let's continue on. Now, guys, I'm gonna move this over a little bit. All right. So guys, I'm actually trying something new today. I am trying to actually go live on Instagram as well. And so we'll see how this works. We'll see how this works. So I'm gonna move my person over a little bit to hopefully, I think the Instagram people, I think you all are like seeing like a part of me, which is like weird. But hopefully we'll get that fixed pretty soon. But anyway, I really do appreciate y'all so much for rocking with me. Thank y'all so much. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day. This is, this is a great, what is today? Thursday? Wednesday? Great Wednesday. All right. Continue on. Let's continue on. All right. I want to dive into a little bit further. So while I said this was a W move for the Washington Mystics, I do want to actually talk about like what specifically has happened with this team, and I want to break down every single trade that we ended up seeing. All right. So let's sort of go down. Let's sort of go down the trade list, player by player. All right, and first we have Maisha Allen. As I said earlier, she has gone to the Minnesota Lynx, and she went to the Minnesota Lynx for the 2026 second round draft pick and Sika Kone. So that is who we got for that. That's who we received for that decision. All right. As we sort of continue on here, a thing to note about both of these players. One is Maisha Allen, as I sort of talked about earlier. She's a player who averaged 8 points a game. She hasn't played in that many games. She hasn't started in that many games for the Washington Mystics. But she's averaged 8 points, 4.9 rebounds a game, and 2.7 assists per game. Now we do see that Sika Kone has arrived with the Washington Mystics, and I want to talk about Sika Kone real quick. Sika Kone is a player who can be awesome. I think there's just more growth that Sika Kone has to do as a player. I think she can end up being a really, really good player. But she just has more growing to do. And I think that's a thing. That's an absolute thing. So far, she barely has played this season for the Minnesota Lynx. She only averages 3.4 minutes a game, averages 1.2 points a game, but she's a player who, if she's able to, she has a lot of raw talent. I think she just needs the game to slow down a little bit more for her to be successful. And I think going to a team like a Washington Mystics, she might have some more opportunities to sort of work out the kinks this season, because again, they're trying to tank. They don't care ultimately what happens for the rest of the season for the Washington Mystics. In terms of winning and losing, of course they want to make it entertaining for the fans, but they don't care about winning and losing. So that's the sort of thing right there. And then they get the second round draft pick. That doesn't mean anything for the most part. Second round draft picks don't make it anyway. So I think that pick, it doesn't matter that much. We see that the rights to Claire Lundquist did get traded away to the Phoenix Mercury, and the Washington Mystics received Shook Sutton. Shook Sutton is a pretty good role player, right? She is a player who has earned herself a roster spot in the WNBA. She's a player who sort of played in other leagues to sort of try to make her way in the W, and she has. But I think there's just not that much that she was able to offer the Phoenix Mercury because they are competing for a WNBA championship. And guys, for those who are watching on Instagram, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. I didn't realize the view was going to be like this type of view, and so that's why you only see part of my face. I'm going to fix that for future live streams, so please bear with me. Thank you so much for your support. Anyway, Shook Sutton so far this year has averaged 2.9 points a game, 1.1 rebounds a game for the Phoenix Mercury. And she plays close to 15 minutes a game. So, she's not that impactful of a player, but I actually think that she will get a lot of burn with this squad. With her new squad, I should say. All right, and the Washington Mystics have made the decision to waive DiDi Richards. Now, guys, if you all are like, wait, DiDi Richards, they got rid of her? Yeah, they got rid of DiDi Richards. The reason why is because DiDi Richards is out for the rest of the season. She's out for the rest of the season because, Achilles injury. She's going to have surgery on that. And they're like, you know what? Let's make sure. Let's waive you and let's move on. Let's waive you and move on. So the Washington Mystics have traded away fan favorite. Like, everybody seems to love DiDi Richards, but she has been waived for the rest of the season. It always sucks when you're hurt, you can't even come back to play that season, and then you get waived. Like, it's just like, it just sucks. It just really, really sucks. Thank you so much, Shay on Instagram, who says we'll always support you. Well, I appreciate you so much. And again, I apologize for the view for the Instagram people. But I'm gonna fix that for future streams. All right. Yeah, FM. The Mystics did waive. They waived DiDi. Yeah, they waived DiDi. All right, let's continue on. Let's talk about the Minnesota Lynx, because the Minnesota Lynx, they traded away Olivia Yopopa, Sika Kone, and the 2020 in their 2026 second round pick. Of course, they traded that, as I said earlier, to the Washington Mystics, and they in turn received Myisha Hines-Allen. Now, to me, I think that the Lynx have gotten significantly better. The reason why is because Myisha Hines-Allen is a player that can slot in pretty quickly and be impactful for the squad. And so I think this is actually a huge W for the Minnesota Lynx. Because again, as I said, she's averaging close to about 8 points a game. She is a player who can just sort of slot in. And I think one thing about Myisha Hines-Allen is she's a straight up worker. And that's what Cheryl Reeve, that's what she deals with. That is exactly what she deals with. And I think Myisha is going to really help the squad. Because this is a team that nobody was really expecting to make any noise. But now they're definitely a contender. This Minnesota Lynx team is definitely a contender this year. Do I believe they really, really have a shot for the title? No. But they're definitely a contender for it. And I think that they are a team that wanted to get a little bit better, trade away someone they didn't think that was going to play in Sika Kone, and pick up a player who they know will play in Myisha Hines-Allen. So to me, I think it's a W move for the Minnesota Lynx, for Cheryl Reeve. They do get a little bit better and can continue their sort of run, trying to actually make it far in the WNBA playoffs. All right, let's continue on. Guys, the Phoenix Mercury have looked to future-proof their squad. Now, let me explain why. Because I know there's a lot of people who like saw this trade and was like, "What? I don't know if this makes any sense. Why would you do this?" XYZ. But guys, the decision for the Phoenix Mercury to trade away Shook Sutton and the 2025 third-round pick in order to pick up the rights to Clara Lundqvist, to me, is a genius move, which is why I put them in the W category. This is a squad in the Phoenix Mercury that is in win now phase, basically. They're trying to win this year. The reason why is because you have significant players on your team as free agents next year, right? You have a player like Diana Taurasi who is sort of like in that, will she retire? Will she not retire? What's going on with that? Like, what is she going to do? That type of thing, right? She is an unrestricted free agent next year. Who knows exactly if she's going to retire? But the Phoenix Mercury have to ensure that they are they're in a good place. So whatever she decides to do, they'll be good, right? Another thing to know is Sophie Cunningham is an unrestricted free agent next year. Brittany Griner is an unrestricted free agent, though it's very likely that Brittany will re-sign with this team. I can't imagine a situation where she does not re-sign with this team, but we'll see. We'll absolutely see. So yeah, that's sort of the thing right there. That's who they're sort of in limbo about next year. But guys, I want to talk about Clara Lundqvist real quick, because I actually think that she's a really good player and is a fantastic pickup for the future of this Phoenix Mercury team. And I think a lot of y'all probably don't know who she is. She is 24 years old. She's a shorty, she's not tall. She's 5'8". You see her photo on the screen. She's a kind of petite, 5'8", pretty small, guard, and she's a straight up baller, guys. This girl is a straight up baller. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of her, but she's fantastic. She's a Swedish player. She has played on the Swedish national team. She played in Sweden for a club team, I believe last year, and she absolutely dominated. She was the league MVP. She won the Defender of the Year award. She averaged quite a bit of points. She averaged quite a bit of points for her squad. And a thing to note is that she is about to play for Girona in this upcoming offseason. So she's on a suspended contract for this season because, again, she was going to arrive late. So she's on a suspended contract. Going into the offseason, she's going to play for Girona, who's a really good team for that plays in Eurobasket. Or not Eurobasket, that is a really good team that plays in Europe. And so I think that she is a definite scorer. I think that she is a player who can absolutely be an impactful player for this team sort of going forward. And while she's not in the WNBA right now, I think she has a lot to offer. I think she has a whole lot to offer. And it's a way of this team sort of looking for the future. They're looking for the future, guys. This is a player who she averaged last year for her club team. She averaged 20.5 points a game, 10.8 rebounds a game. As a 5'8" player, guys, she averaged 5.7 assists a game, 3.4 steals a game. Clara Lundqvist is really, really good. And while we have not seen her play in the WNBA just yet, I think that the Phoenix Mercury are setting themselves up for future success by getting the rights to a baller like that. So she might end up being she likely will be with the team next year. And I'm excited to see her play. I really am. So again, Clara Lundqvist, you don't know her, you need to know her. She's a straight up baller. She has she's going to be with the Phoenix Mercury team in the future. I think they made a good decision. Yes, they get rid of a player that they really like in Suge Sutton, but they are looking to future-proof themselves by going over to Europe and getting players. Guys, a lot of these European players are really, really good. Again, Claire Lundquist. She's going to be playing for Girona for her club team this past season. Again, 20.5 points, 10.8 rebounds a game, 5.7 assists per game, 3.4 steals a game. I'm just saying, it's important for us to, yes, talk about the fact that, yes, her averages and whatnot, she's not playing against WNBA players, right? On a night in and out, a night out basis. So yes, that will change when she goes to the WNBA. But I actually really do think that she can ball. I think she's a petite player, but she's a player who plays way bigger than her size. And I, for one, am extremely, extremely excited to see her play in the W. So again, baller move, good decision by the Phoenix Mercury. While a lot of people don't know her, she can play, and she might be the future of this team, knowing that they're going to be losing a player like Adina Taurasi sooner rather than later. All right, let's get to the super chats real quick. Thank you so much, Daryl, for the super chat. Really do appreciate that so much. Wow, thank you so much, Chocolate Twist Chocolate Twist Yoga. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says thank you. Well, I thank you so much for your super chat. Mitchell says, hit that like button and subscribe. Quita is working hard to keep keeping us updated. Thank you. Well, thank you, Mitchell. I really do appreciate that. I really do. And when I first saw your name, Mitchell, I thought of Miles Morales. Do you get that? Do you get that, Miles Morales? Do you get that? Do people call you that, Miles Morales? All right. Well, anyway, that was the Phoenix Mercury. And I wanted to dive in a little bit further in that one because, again, I don't think a lot of people know who Claire Lundquist is, and I wanted to just talk about that a little bit more. All right, let's continue on, guys. On to the losers, in my opinion. On to the losers. So, while my alarm sounds off, on to the losers of the trade deadline. And for me, the losers start with the Indiana Fever. Now, if you all are like, wait, why is the Fever a loser? Why are they a loser in the trade deadline? They didn't make any trades. My point exactly. Here's the thing about the Indiana Fever that you all have to know. This is a team that has the potential to be a dynasty. We might be watching a dynasty in the making with the Indiana Fever. With the core that they have, with the talent that they have, with the sort of fun factor that they have, this is a squad who looks really, really good, is entertaining, and is fun. And it's one of those things where I'm like, wow, you have possibly screwed yourself over. Possibly. Now, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing to note. And the reason why I actually think they're losers at the trade deadline is because of this. Did you know that at the end of this season, Kelsey Mitchell is an unrestricted free agent? Yeah, let that sink in. She's an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. And the reason why that's important is because unrestricted free agents can leave and go anywhere they want without their former team receiving anything. All right? Their former team receives nothing for them leaving. And guys, to me, I think that the Indiana Fever have possibly set themselves up for failure. The reason why is because, again, unrestricted free agent, and you have nothing. So you have no contract extension, because that's the thing. When you're on your last year of your deal, same thing happens in the NBA. Top players, if you're on the last year of your deal, the team before the deadline is going to try to re-sign you. They're going to try to do a sign and trade. They're going to try to do something to get something if you decide to leave. Some of the comments that Kelsey Mitchell has made in the past have indicated that that she's leaving, right? Some of the comments that she's made in terms of how she was sort of using third person when she was sort of talking about the Indiana Fever and like how it's great that they got the All-Star game and how excited she was for them and all that stuff. But it wasn't like I'm so excited for us to have this opportunity and blah, blah, blah. And then when she was asked about the trade, when she was asked about free agency, she was excited. She said she was excited to sort of explore that. Those comments, to me, definitely make it seem like it's not a done deal that she returns to this team. It makes me wonder, like, she might be gone. Kelsey Mitchell might be gone at the end of this year. And what do the guys, what do the Phoenix Mercury get? Nothing. They get absolutely nothing. And to me, I think it's dumb. I think it's a dumb decision. Now, maybe, contract negotiations are in the works. Maybe with the Indiana Fever in terms of getting her to re-sign with them. However, that stuff needs to be done before the trade deadline, because if it's not, at least you can trade her and get something. Even if it's trading her to a contender for the rights to their future draft picks. At least it's something. You are getting absolutely nothing if she decides to walk away. So to me, that's a dumb decision. Similar thing, guys. You all remember when Candace Parker was with the LA Sparks. She was with the LA Sparks for years and years and years. And time came where she was going to be a unrestricted free agent the following year. The LA Sparks did not trade her anywhere. They just let her be where she was. She ended up going to the end of the season, became an unrestricted free agent, and then she left the LA Sparks, went to the Chicago Sky as an unrestricted free agent, and the LA Sparks got nothing. Guys, I am someone who does not understand why any team would let a top player on their squad become an unrestricted free agent without trading them or without re-signing them or without doing something. I don't think it makes any sense. Like, why would you? You're going to walk away. You're going to walk away from somebody who plays, who gives you around 20 plus points a game. Someone who is a dynamic scorer. You're gonna possibly walk away from her with nothing in your hands. I think it makes no sense. Yes, Kelsey Mitchell might return to this team. She might, but the thing is, you have nothing, no recourse if she decides not to. All right, and so to me, I think it's dumb. A thing to note, guys, if y'all are curious, Erica Wheeler is also an unrestricted free agent. So I know a lot of y'all in the comments are saying, oh, the Fever should have traded should have traded Erica Wheeler. Erica Wheeler is an unrestricted free agent. I don't think they actually really, I don't think they actually re-sign her next year. She's an unrestricted free agent, so she's gone at the end of the season anyway, likely. She may return, but definitely for way less money if she does return, Erica Wheeler. Timmy Fagbenle is a restricted free agent, so the Fever will get her to re-sign back. They'll just need to match whatever deal she might get in the free market. But Kelsey Mitchell, in my opinion, is the most impactful unrestricted free agent. And which is why I'm honing in on this so much, because I'm like, wow, this is a missed opportunity. Maybe she returns to this team. But if she doesn't, you're kind of messed up, right? Because again, you get nothing for that 20 plus points a game type of deal. So that is something to note. Yeah, that is something to note. I know there's a lot of people who don't know about the sort of restricted free agency type of deal. And I wanted to just sort of explain that. Yeah. So anyway, for this season so far, Kelsey Mitchell was averaging 17.7 points a game, 2.3 rebounds a game, and 1.9 assists per game. Absolutely is a huge baller for this squad. Katie says, is it possible that she's re-signed and we don't know? Or does that info have to be public? It has to be public, because if they re-signed her, it shows up on WNBA transaction page and nothing has shown up. So maybe she's in talks with them, but nothing has been signed. Nothing has been signed. So yeah, that's a good question though. That is a good question. All right. Michael says Wheeler goes to Chicago. No. Bill, absolutely. Yes, she is. Just in terms of considering the amount of points per game and all that stuff. Katie says she may want to see how the season goes. If they are in the championship hunt, maybe she stays. I hope she stays. We love her in Indy. Yeah, I mean, Katie, I understand why Kelsey Mitchell has not resigned. I get it. Like, to me, if I am Kelsey Mitchell, yes, I'm doing exactly what she's doing now. I'm saying I'm gonna wait and see. I'm excited to explore free agency, and you're gonna see, and you want to see how the rest of the season goes, and then make a decision. So from Kelsey Mitchell's perspective, this makes a lot of sense. I think this makes a lot of sense. But from a GM management perspective of, oh crap, our biggest scorer is maybe leaving at the end of the season with and we get nothing. To me, it's a missed opportunity. It's dumb. So both sides, the player and the team, have different perspectives, and they want different things. So that's the thing. For the player, absolutely, yes, she wants to wait until the end of the season to see how this goes. If the Fever do make a long run, and if she continues to get along with her teammates and whatnot, then she's like, okay, actually, yeah, I'll resign. Yeah, I'll sign on the dotted line. I'll resign for max contract. I'll resign, right? Or if everything flounders, it doesn't go according to the way she wants to go, she can then say, okay, I'm gone. See you later. You know? And for her, this works. This is a great situation. Similar to Candace Parker, right? She became a unrestricted free agent. There was she didn't get traded anywhere. Like, it worked out. And she was able to go where she wanted. But from a team perspective, guys, I don't think it makes any sense for you to have a player who averages more than 15 points a game becoming an restricted free agent at the end of the year, and you don't do anything to either lock them up for more years or trade them so you at least get something. Would they have gotten top-notch players for Kelsey Mitchell this season? No. Not because Kelsey Mitchell isn't good, but because she's on a expiring contract. So the most you would have gotten was probably a couple of draft picks, which to me is better than nothing, in my opinion. So that's sort of the thought process there. That's sort of the thought process. Erica's done at the end of the season. She's done at the end of the season. And a thing to note is that this team has the money. All right. The Indiana Fever have the money to re-sign Kelsey Mitchell to a max contract. They got it. They got the money to do it. They have it. All right. So let's continue on. Let's go to the Connecticut Sun. Now, guys, the Connecticut Sun is a squad that is in a similar situation to the Indiana Fever, but actually way worse. Way worse situation than Indiana Fever. The reason why is because the Connecticut Sun can absolutely lose it all. They can lose it all at the end of this year. And guys, the reason why this team can lose it all is because they have unrestricted free agents. And they can kind of do whatever they want at the end of the season. Now, while I do think players like Alyssa Thomas and Brianna Jones and DeWanna Bonner, while I think they love Connecticut, they love the program, they love everything about it, they have not re-signed. So again, that is something to note. So unrestricted free agents for 2025 is Alyssa Thomas, Brianna Jones, DeWanna Bonner, Tiffany Mitchell, Astudu Fall. Those are your unrestricted free agents, and then Dejanay Carrington is a restricted free agent. So Dejanay Carrington is fine. They can match her offers and get her back. But the idea that you have a majority of your scoring possibly leaving for nothing, again, makes no sense. Now, again, from a player's perspective, I get it. You want to wait and see. You want to explore free agency and all that stuff. But from a team perspective, I don't see how it makes any sense. Yes, to me, it is very likely that Alyssa, Brianna, and DeWanna return. It's very likely that they do. But if they don't, what in the world does Connecticut have? What do they have? Right? They got Ty Harris. They got Marina Mabry, Dejanay Carrington, Olivia Nelson-Ododa, and Veronica Burton. That's all you got. I don't know how it makes any sense. Like, I don't get it. Either resign these ladies before the trade deadline or get rid of them and get something. Like, I think it makes no sense to have literally the person who's responsible for just about everything happening on your offense and defense, and Alyssa Thomas. Alyssa Thomas is like crazy amazing, and like what she does on both the offensive and defensive end, passing the ball, and making stuff happen. Like, to possibly have her go and leave and you have nothing, I just don't think it makes any sense. I don't think it makes any sense. So that's my 2 cents there. That is my 2 cents. Maybe you all disagree. I would love to hear your perspective about that. But yeah, that's why I consider the Connecticut Sun a loser, because I didn't think they needed to trade anybody to make them better for this season, but I thought it was important to lock up your core players. Either lock them up or make another decision. You could have even re-signed them to another 1-year deal, right? So, but that has not happened. They are still unrestricted free agents, and we may see 2025 come, and Alyssa and DeWanna decide they want to go somewhere else. Brianna Jones decides she wants to go somewhere else, and the Connecticut Sun are absolutely screwed. But who knows? That may not happen. But the thing is, they are unrestricted free agents, so they can do whatever they want to do. Connecticut has no say. If it's the thing to know, guys, unrestricted free agent means exactly that. You are unrestricted and you can go wherever. The thing to note about the restricted free agent is that restricted free agents is, you're on the market. However, your team has the right to match offers and keep you. So let's say you're Dejanay Carrington. You're on the market, and the let's say the LA Sparks says, Dejanay, we love what you can do on the basketball court. We want to offer you $175,000 for a 3-year deal, right? $175,000 for a 3-year deal for Dejanay Carrington. Let's just, I'm trying to give an example to explain the restricted free agent thing. So they put out an offer for that. The Connecticut Sun, because she's a restricted free agent, can say, hey, Dejanay, we saw that offer come through. We actually want to match it. Let's match that because we actually want you to stay here. So they match it, And even if Dejanay wants to go to LA, she has to go to Connecticut because Connecticut matched the offer. If Connecticut says, you know what, we love you, however, we don't want to pay $175,000, then she can go to the LA Sparks. This is just a made-up scenario. I don't know if she'll actually go to LA or anything. But hopefully that helps to explain what restricted free agents are. If that does not help to explain it, let me know, and I'll try to explain it differently. But unrestricted free agent, you can go anywhere. Restricted free agent means that your team possibly has a say and possibly and your team can have the opportunity to match that offer, and you have to go with your current team if they match. All right. So let's continue on. All right, let's go to the Las Vegas Aces. So to me, the Las Vegas Aces is a squad that is very much in a they didn't win, they didn't lose, they're just good phase. I think that's what they are. I think they're a team that is still really, really great. No real concerns about with them on that front at all, really. So again, they're not a winner, they're not a loser, they're just existing, right? A thing to note, guys, is yes, similar to other teams, yes, the Las Vegas Aces do have some upcoming free agents. However, I don't think they're that big of a deal, to be quite honest with you. Well, they are, but also they aren't as much. So a thing to note is that Kelsey Plum is a unrestricted free agent at the end of this season. I really don't think she goes anywhere. Like, I really don't see Kelsey Plum going anywhere and leaving the Las Vegas Aces. And so and also, even if she does, I do think that they'll be able to like grab other pieces and still be good, you know? So that's why I don't put that as much weight on her being an unrestricted free agent than I do Kelsey Mitchell being an unrestricted free agent for the Indiana Fever. So that's the thing there. I think they're just, the Aces are just still really good. They didn't get better. They didn't get worse. They're just good. And they are, in my opinion, still going to be a team that is definitely competing for another championship. So yeah, that's the thing right there. So yeah, they don't make any moves, but I think they're good. They do have Tiffany Hayes and Sydney Colson, who will be unrestricted free agents, next year as well. Also, Alicia Clark, but I don't think those are I don't think those are that big of a deal, in my opinion. All right, so we got some super chats. So I want to get to Tasha. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, how can a team prevent a player from becoming unrestricted free agent if that's what a player wants? Well, a team cannot. A team can't like force you to re-sign with them, right? But what a team can do is, Tasha, to sort of answer your question, yes, you cannot say, "Hey, you're an unrestricted free agent. You better re-sign with me because I don't want to lose you." But if you're the team, you can say, "You know what? This player may leave. So what can I do to make sure I am in the best situation possible?" What can you do? Which is what you can do is you could trade the person. And yes, the new team, that person's still going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of that season even after getting traded to a new team. But the current team, meaning let's say this is the Indiana Fever, they could at least get something as opposed to nothing. But yeah, they can't totally prevent a player from becoming an unrestricted free agent. They can core a player for a bit of time, but eventually it comes due where the player can just do whatever they want to do. And it's up to the player to do what they want to do. Absolutely, it's in the player's best interest to be an unrestricted free agent and like have the world be their oyster and have teams competing for them to join them. Absolutely, but also it's in a team's best interest to look out for the future of that team, and those interests do conflict, especially when it comes to free agency. And so that's why it's sort of like two different sides of it. Like, makes sense for a player to want to go to free agency, but it also makes sense for a team that if you have a top player going into being an unrestricted free agent, you probably want to either re-sign that person, sweet talk them, re-sign them, or whatever, agree to whatever they need you to agree to re-sign them before the trade deadline, or you trade them. Unless you plan on winning a championship and you think that more people are going to want to go to your team, and then that's fine, right? So that's my 2 cents there. Anthony, thanks so much for the super chat. Says, how will the expansion draft for the Golden State team affect the free agency postseason? Absolutely love this channel. Thank you so much. Well, Anthony, what will happen is that teams will have the opportunity to select certain players to prevent from going into it's going to be called the expansion draft. That's what it's called. And teams they're gonna get a specific number of players, like to say, hey, you get to select X amount of players that you do not want to enter this draft, and all the other players will enter the draft and can be selected by the Golden State team. Now, I will make a separate video that actually really, really dives into this, looking at the last time we saw an expansion team, which was in Atlanta for the Atlanta Dream when they joined the team a very, very long time ago. So yeah. All right. Let's continue on. Another team that I think is not a winner, not a loser. They're just it is what it is the Chicago Sky. So the Sky stay the same. The Sky make no moves at the trade deadline. They have not done anything. So we don't have anybody new to the squad. We don't lose anybody. We're just existing. And guys, I actually think that's fine. I know there's a lot of sort of newer Sky fans that are like really upset, and they're like, hey, you should have traded for somebody. You should have made some noise. You should have did something. We need 3-point shooting. We need this. We need that. We need a point guard. All this stuff. And for those people, I understand. Yeah, Mike, I did the fever earlier. If you like backtrack maybe 20 minutes, you can look at what I said about the fever. What's up, Janae on Instagram? What's up? Sorry for the view. I'll try to fix that in the future. But yeah, the Chicago Sky stay the same. They don't get better. They don't get worse. They're the same. Now I understand a lot of the people who are upset. I get it. However, the Sky were not going to do anything this year anyway. So like the idea of like making dramatic changes and doing trades and whatnot, to me, it would have been a lose-lose for the Chicago Sky. All right. Clea Copper at the beginning of the season, she wanted to get traded. They traded her. Marina Mabry, a couple weeks ago or a month ago now, wanted to get traded. They traded her. Everybody else seems to be good, so they're good. It would not have been in the Sky's best interest to make any trades. Wouldn't have. Absolutely wouldn't have. Because the Sky would probably lose more than they gain. The thing is, the Sky needs all the draft picks they can get, so it doesn't make any sense to make any moves on that front to get rid of any of your future draft picks, because they've done that before. They've gotten bit in the past before, giving up all of their draft picks. Two, guys, the Sky don't really have tradable assets. I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like I don't totally I don't know. Sky fans in the chat, let me know what you think, because it seems like I was seeing like a lot of like Sky fans on the internet that were saying like the Sky's terrible. They should have made some trades. We should have got better on the 3-point line. We should have got better on for our point guard and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, well, why? This year's a wash. We're not going to be very good. It is what it is, guys. Absolutely. Yes. Should the Sky win more games? Yeah, sure. Does the Sky play hard? Yeah, sure. Should we be better at the 3-point line? Yeah, sure. Should we have a better point guard? Yeah, sure. However, doesn't matter. We're not the Sky were a team that before the season people had projected to be 12th in the league. All right. This is a team that has played better than what others have expected them to. This is a team that still might make the playoffs, and to me, that's the win. If you make the playoff, that's a win. If you wind up just missing the playoffs and end up in the lottery, that's still a win. Okay, because the goal for this season, the 3 players that you really do have that anybody would trade for would be Angel, Camilla, Kennedy. Those are the players that anybody would trade for. If the Sky was on the market to really, really trade for somebody, that's who teams want. That's who teams will want. Those 3 players. You're not getting rid of those 3 players, right? The Sky are not getting rid of those 3 players. So they were willing to trade Dana Evans. Nobody wanted her. I'm sure other players were up for trade talks, and nobody wanted them. So I think that's fine. Finish out the rest of the season. Continue to develop your core 3, in my opinion, which is, again, Camila Cardoso, Kennedy Carter, and Jerice. Continue to develop them. You'll get better and better and better. And then in the offseason, use the offseason to sign free agents. And that's your thing. Sign free agents, and then make sure to look out for the draft. If the Sky, I don't think the Sky are intending to tank. For those who are saying that, the Sky are trying to tank, I don't think they are. I think they have realized where they're at right now. They have realized that they're not really going to go anywhere, and they cool. They cool with that. They're not interested in getting better personnel. They're interested in developing what they have. That's what they're looking to do. To develop what they have and then figure out who they want to re-sign for next year on the current roster. That's what this team is looking to do. But are they tanking? No. If you ask Teaspoon that, she gonna be real mad at you. But I don't think they're tanking. I think they've just admitted to where they are. Because if they're tanking, guys, the Chicago Sky have done a terrible job. If this team is tanking, they have done a horrible job at it, because they're not tanking. But if they wind up outside of the playoffs, they're happy. If they wind up in the playoffs, they're happy. Because ultimately, the whole goal of this season was to develop your core players. You got 3 players who, in my opinion, will be on this team going forward, which is, Camila Cardoso, Kennedy Carter, and Angel Reese. That's it. That's your core, right? And if you want to make it even narrower, you got core 2, Camila and Angel. Everybody else, we gonna see. I hope the Sky end up re-signing Dana. I'm a big fan of Dana. I'm a big believer in her as a player. I think she has a lot to offer this team. Yes, she absolutely has not had the best year, but I do think she has a lot to offer. You got players like Brianna Turner. You're not re-signing her. No. You got Elizabeth Williams, which, yeah, sure, you can re-sign Elizabeth. I'm cool with that for next year. Diamond Shields, probably not. Michaela Onyenwere, maybe. Izzy, maybe. And then you spend the rest of the time WNBA draft, free agency, getting the pieces that you need. You need a 3-point shooter, get a 3-point shooter in free agency. You need a 3-and-D type of player. You need a point guard. Rookies, let them have it. Next year's rookies, let them compete for it. All right, so that's my thing, because the thing is, the Sky won't have a free agency problem going forward. They won't. They've had an issue where, they needed to use the trade market to make some stuff happen because nobody wanted to really go to the Sky. Yeah, people love Chicago, but they didn't want to go to the Sky because the Sky facilities sucked. They were terrible. Now, the Sky will have a new facility soon. All right? They will have a new facility soon, and guys, they won't have a problem with free agency anymore. So no need to make trades, no need to do anything dramatic. Keep what you get, and just know, in about 2 to 3 years, the Sky gonna be that team. Right now, yeah, they suck. It's all right. So that's my thoughts right there. I'm very much curious. I want to get to some of y'all comments on this one. I really do, because I want to hear what y'all are thinking about this. Kai says, "LOL, Quita, you're a dreamer." Maybe, I don't know. Am I? Goon says Raven Johnson equals Michaela Onyenwere. I don't agree with that at all. I severely disagree with that, Goon. Michaela Onyenwere is not a point guard. Michaela Onyenwere is like a small forward. Raven Johnson is a pure point guard. Raven Johnson is like the purest of point guards. Like, I don't think they're the same at all. Like, I really don't. I like both of them as players, but I don't think they're similar. Maybe you all disagree, and I'm very curious to hear what y'all have to say about that. Aquaman says, your Sky don't need a 3-point shooter. Number one is your quality and high awareness assistant guard. Don't take my teams, Caitlin, LOL. Then your Sky need better layups. The rest are bonuses. Nah. I mean, yeah, sure. We need a point guard. Yeah, sure. We need to get more consistent in the paint, but we also do need a 3-point shooter. We absolutely do. All right. Anything else y'all got to say about this? Anything else? Mike says Chicago owners are always cheap. They rather have a nice building than lock anyone. Well, Mike, the Sky has finally agreed to sort of develop their actual practice facility and like actually get one, a nice one. And so I actually think that's smart. They're looking for the future. Nobody wants. It doesn't matter to trade for players if after if once they're unrestricted free agent they leave because they didn't want to stay in Chicago. No, you need to develop your infrastructure. That way you can get players to want to come to your team and want to stay. I think that makes a lot of sense. Personally, I think that makes a lot of sense. Tasha is asking why did they refuse to play Kaiser? To be honest with you, I wish they played Kaiser. I wish they really gave Kaiser a real opportunity because that girl can shoot. That girl can absolutely shoot. She could absolutely shoot. Yeah, I like Izzy's awesome. I really like Izzy. I think she's really great. I don't know if she'll stay with the team next year, but I really like her. I think she definitely needs to be in the WNBA. Absolutely. Future Goat, I agree. Says no. The Sky definitely needed a new practice facility. Who wants to train at the YMCA? Yeah, I agree. Though technically they weren't training in the YMCA, but it was basically it was similar. They were training at a recreational center in Deerfield. So technically not the same, but in reality, they're basically the same. Amarachi says, we got to give this guy like 2 to 5 years to be contenders. I'm saying 2 to 3, maybe 4. I don't think it's going to take that long. I don't think it's going to take that long. Our dog says tough medicine Quita with this guy. I mean, I just, yeah, this guy my favorite team, but you gotta admit reality. We're not good. We're not gonna be good for the rest of the season. It's all right. Let's build for the future. And we made a good decision by staying the exact same. All right, let's continue on. We got the Dallas Wings. Now, the Dallas Wings is a team that, in my opinion, is in limbo land. I don't think they got better. I don't think they got worse. I think they are exactly the same. And I think that could be fine. This is a team that has really good pieces, right? You have a player like Enrique Gumwale, who's a straight up baller, right? You have sort of the twin towers down low in Tierra McCowan and Kalani Brown. You have Satu Sabli, right? You have good pieces. A thing to note is that, yes, they don't trade for anybody, and they might potentially lose a player like a Satu Sabli in the offseason. Now, I will say that even if they would have tried to make something happen on that front, I think it's I think it's a decent chance that Satu does end up re-signing with Dallas, just the way that she seems to vibe with the coaching staff and the players and all that stuff. And so I think Dallas is Dallas. They're just sort of like okay. I don't know who they could have really realistically got to make them better. And one thing about Dallas that I didn't want to see, which I'm glad I didn't see, is them trading somebody for a whole bunch of picks. Because if y'all know anything about the Dallas Wings, Dallas loves to hoard draft picks. This is a team that is like close to being one of the youngest, like a very, very young team. They have a lot of young players. They have a lot of draft picks every single year. And what this team needs is more sort of older players, more leadership style players and whatnot, and not all the draft picks. And so while Satu Sabli is a unrestricted free agent at the end of this season, I didn't think it made sense for them to trade her just to get a whole bunch of draft picks who you're not going to keep anyway. Like, what's the point? I feel like they've had so many draft picks in the last several years, and it's just meaningless. Like, sometimes they even have several in the same like round. And for the most part, sort of growing from the draft is something that they've continued to try to do. And I think they need to do the about face and figure out something different. And so that's the thing. That's why I actually think it's okay that they didn't make any decisions. Because yeah, sure, you can get rid of Satu and trade her somewhere for picks because she's going to be unrestricted free agent. But it's a decent chance that she's going to return to your team next year. And also, you don't need more draft picks. You just really don't. That's not going to help you as the Dallas Wings. So that's sort of my thoughts about that. I don't know. I don't think it's that. I didn't think it was necessary for them to make any trades. They're going to generally stay where they are for the remainder of the season and hope that next year they'll have an opportunity to do it right with Satu healthy the entire year. So that's the thing. All right, we're almost done, guys. We're almost done. Also, guys, if y'all could please do me a huge favor and hit that like button, that really will help the channel out a whole lot. I make content all about women's basketball. So if that is your thing, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. All right, all right, all right. Goon, no, but I get why you say that. No, but I get why you say that. And speaking of Monique Billings and actually also Odyssey Sims, a thing to note is that the Dallas Wings have let go of both Odyssey Sims and Monique Billings, two players who absolutely were huge, absolutely were huge for them. When we looked at when we looked at that first half of the season, absolutely those two players were huge. But unfortunately, they let them go, which to me not that smart of a move, but those players have moved on. Monique Billings is an absolute baller. Odyssey Sims also, and they've moved on to new teams and whatnot. But I don't think the Dallas Wings actually get any better or make any more things happen. Paris says if you don't hurt what if you don't hit the like. Oh, it says if you don't hit the like, you don't like your team. Okay. That's funny, Paris. That's funny. I appreciate I believe Ice is in the chat too. Although I appreciate Paris, CAC, and Ice in the chat. Mods extraordinaire. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Wait, no, not Ice. Am I missing somebody? Hold on. Am I missing somebody? Now CAC in Paris. Yeah, I appreciate y'all so much for rocking with me. As the mods for the channel. All right, guys, let's talk about the Liberty. So the Liberty, I don't think they're a winner. I don't think they're a loser. I think they're a team. This team is locked and loaded, and they are ready to go. I actually like the fact that they made no changes because I think this is a really good squad. So the New York Liberty are in a position to do what they were not able to do last year, and that is actually win a WNBA championship. The reason why is because we see their players sort of continue to elevate their game, right? They have a new player on their team, Leonie Fibich, who I really like. I think she is a player who can be absolutely clutch in this one. Actually, hold on. Oh, geez. I'm sorry. Simply balling. I do apologize for that. I miss your super chat. Sorry about that. Says we need consistent guard play. Period for the Chicago Sky. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Simply balling. I completely agree. Yeah, we do need consistent. Guard play. I assume you're talking about the Chicago Sky. But yeah, if you're not, confirm. But yeah, we do need consistent guard play. We need players who can consistently hit the 3-point shot. We need sort of players who know how to pass it inside to the big men and also know how to consistently do that. You know, because having a one-off game where you're a really good passer for that moment, or you're really feeling it from three, and then all the other times you're not very good, is a problem. It is absolutely a problem. So yeah, let's talk about this New York Liberty team. So the reason why I think that they did a good decision by not making any trades, they didn't get worse, they didn't get better because they're already very elite. This is the team that's already top in the WNBA right now. They are a squad of straight up ballers. Yeah, you do have that like new player who I think does feel part of the role that Maureen Johannes had for this team in the past, but I would probably say a little bit more consistency. In Leonie Fibich, you also have a player like Sabrina Ionescu, which I feel like I talk about her all the time. But like guys, Sabrina Ionescu is definitely a candidate for most improved player, and unfortunately, she was not nominated by you all during the midseason awards because I wanted to ramble on and on and on and about her, about how better she is as a player, and like how more impactful she is. Like in my opinion, she's the most important player on this team this season for the New York Liberty. Yes, this is a team that has two former MVPs in Jonquel Jones and Breanna Stewart. Absolutely. But Sabrina Ionescu to me has been like the big surprise in a way, and the big X factor, in my opinion, for this season for this New York Liberty team. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. I do think that they definitely will be contenders for the championship again this year, and they are way better stacked against the Aces this year than they were last year, in my opinion. And so I am very much excited to sort of watch them play. Yes, they don't make any moves at the trade deadline, but I think it's a W decision because I think they are all good. But I'm very curious. Do we have any New York Liberty fans in the chat? Do we happen to have any? Because I would love to hear specifically what y'all have to say about this this team, because I think you got a good squad. I think y'all got a good squad on your hands. B says arguably one of the best to do it in Breanna Stewart. Yeah, Breanna Stewart's awesome. She is. However, in my opinion, I really do believe, I truly believe that that the impact that Sabrina Ionescu has made on both the offensive and defensive like space for this New York Liberty team has been crazy impactful. And yes, Breanna Stewart is great. She is. But I think Sabrina has been the biggest X factor for this team. I think I think she's been awesome. I really do. And I don't believe people are paying attention. Like I don't. Like I feel like she's an afterthought that people don't seem to care about. That people are just sort of like, whatever. And they're sort of thinking about this New York Liberty team when they're thinking about like best players and whatnot. They're thinking about they're adding in sort of the history, right? They're adding in like what players have done in the past and all this other stuff. And like I am just strictly looking at this season. That's all I'm looking at. I am strictly looking at this season and making my sort of assessments from there. But yeah, that's sort of my thoughts right there. I really do like this squad. I think that they have gotten a whole not a whole lot better, but they've gotten better in the issues that they had last year. Primarily defensively, they've gotten better. They've gotten better in terms of being, I would say, more consistent on the offensive end, especially when they're facing tough defenses. And so I think it's very helpful for this squad to be in the position that they are going into the WNBA playoffs. I think they're great. Jay says, "Hey Quita, love my squad. Benaja's health will be important in the playoffs." Facts. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the thing to note about Benaja, she's missed some pretty decent time this year. And if she can be healthy to her normal self, I think that yeah, you get your core. You have Jonquil Jones, Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Courtney Vandersloot, Benija Laney, Kayla Thornton, Leonie Feebage, like that sort of like, I would say sort of like that 7-man rotation. That sort of core 7-man rotation. I think that's a great squad. And if all those players are healthy and making stuff happen, I think you better watch out. I think you better watch out when it comes to the actual playoffs. And yes, CAC, I think a lot of people would agree with you. They do have the best mascot in Ellie the Elephant. Now, guys, I am actually not totally sure when Benija will be back. Now, Jay, you may have the latest on that. I know she's out for a couple of weeks. But like specifically, like she's, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking like maybe like the first or second week of September, maybe she'll be back. I don't know. She has knee issues, so that's a thing. She has some knee issues. Benigilani Hamilton does, and so she's been out for a decent amount of time. She is Bima. Completely agree. Yes. She is an unsung hero for this team. Absolutely, she does all the dirty work. She absolutely does. She takes the toughest defensive assignments, especially for the opposing guards. She is a player who they can rely on to score on the offensive end, find a way to get her shot off. She absolutely is really good. I really do think that Benigilani Hamilton does not get enough credit for like what she actually brings to the squad and like how impactful she is when she's healthy, when she's on the team. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that front. You know, Sabrina Ionescu, definitely, in my opinion, the most important player on the team. But absolutely, you know, right after that, Brianna Stewart, Jonquel Jones, Benigilani Hamilton, right? You know, I'd probably say Kayla Thornton, maybe leapfrogs, Courtney Vandersloot, but like Courtney is also really awesome as well. But yeah, that's kind of the New York Liberty. They don't make any changes, but I think they are locked and loaded. I think they are ready to go. They're ready to really try to make some stuff happen and really try to do the thing that they have yet to ever do. This is the only team that was here in the inaugural season that still has not won a championship. All right. So we have gone through 11 WNBA teams and we have saved the team I want to talk about the most for last. And that is the Atlanta Dream. So guys, my main point for the Atlanta Dream is that they are confusing in a good way. Let me sort of explain what I mean here. So when I think about the Atlanta Dream, I think of a team that to start the first half of the year, they looked terrible. This is the team that was not good. Right. Also, Ice, I want to acknowledge I did see your comment about the mascots. I will try to do that pretty soon. I will try to do a deep dive of that pretty soon. Hopefully I'll try to do that pretty soon. But it is still on my radar. It still is on my radar. Okay, so back to this Atlanta Dream team. This is a team that is confusing to me because they were trying to trash at the early part of the season. They were not very good. I think they're a team that has pieces, but they weren't figuring out a way to sort of put it all together and get wins, right? And then you also have, in my opinion, your best player, which is Ryan Howard, dealing with injury. And so that was a huge thing that actually really, really hurt them and their ability to play really well in the first half of the season, pre-Olympics. And post-Olympics, I am like, wow, this this Atlanta Dream team is good. And that's why I'm like, wow, it's a little confusing. Like this, because guys, the Atlanta Dream is a squad that lost a bunch of games to end out the Olympic break, right? This team lost 7 games straight before the Olympic break. 7 games straight. Yes, absolutely. They had their best player out in Ryan Howard, right? But I just felt like the way that they played sometimes made no sense to me. Some of the rotations that was in, I was just like, okay, I don't really get it. And now I feel like they're in a good spot. now I feel like this team is in a really, really good spot. And let me tell you why. The reason why is because, number one, Ryan Howard's back. And Ryan Howard is like the best thing that ever happened to Atlanta. She's straight up baller. You also have Jordan Canada, who is, continuing to, yes, not necessarily always shoot that efficiently, but also, but she's being that sort of point guard that you need her to be. She's being the point guard you need her to be. Yeah, she may not score the best, but she's absolutely passing that ball. She's getting players involved. She's making stuff happen. You have Naz Hillman, who is, in my opinion, just continuing to be very, very impactful. Yes, she's not going to score a lot of points for you. She's not. But she's going to do all the little things that's necessary to sort of make stuff happen. Whether that's just rebounding, whether that's just not doing anything stupid. Like she can absolutely do that for you. Also, you got freaking Tina Charles, man, on your team, and Tina Charles, I think has been good. Pretty good this entire season. I think she showed people that she absolutely still deserves a spot in the WNBA. She has been doing well in terms of rebounding, points per game, all that good stuff. And when you have one of the best young talents right now, one of the best young talents in Ryan Howard, healthy. You have one of the OGs of the basketball game, of the game of women's basketball, in Tina Charles, still balling. You have good decisions made by the coaching staff, and you have a pretty good support staff in terms of Alicia Gray and Jordan Canada and Naz Hillman and Cheyenne Parker-Tyus, and you have a recipe for a good squad. Now, guys, the thing is, the reason why I said earlier how in the first half of the season, Atlanta confused me. Some of the rotations that they had and some of the decisions that they were making from a coaching standpoint, I was just like, what? I don't get it. This makes no sense. What are you doing? And it was because of what they were doing from the point guard perspective. There was an experiment that started last year with Haley Jones being the point guard for this team. To me, it didn't work last year. They should have moved on. They did not. We saw, for the most part, in the first half of the year, Haley Jones was the sort of starting point guard for this team, right? She was the player who was starting for this team at the point guard position. And finally, the team has decided to change that. They have finally decided to bench Haley Jones and not have her start as the point guard. Now, this has nothing to do with Haley Jones. I think this team has set up Haley Jones for not being successful, in my opinion. Like I don't think it ever made any sense to try to make Haley Jones the point guard. Like, she wasn't a point guard coming into it. The idea, like, Haley Jones is a small forward. That's what she is. She's basically a small forward. And the idea of having her play that role, a role that she's not natural at, a role that has always looked awkward for her last year and this year, it didn't help the team. It didn't. It did not help the team. This team, the reason why they would look silly at times on the court is because you had a point guard who was not a point guard trying to play the role. She had trouble sometimes dealing with better defensive guards against her. She is she's a player who is good, but the position that she has to play in makes her look terrible. Like, she doesn't look like a good player a lot of times because she's in a bad position. And I am happy that this experiment looks like it's over. it looks like this experiment is over for Haley Jones, and I love this. I think this is great for Haley Jones as a player. I don't think she'll ever say this, but they set her up for failure, in my opinion. The reason why is because Haley Jones can play. She can play. If you, but not as a point guard, not as your starting point guard. And so that's the thing right there. I think now that Jordan Canada is back, now that she's healthy, she's in the starting lineup for the Atlanta Dream, and you see they're playing better. You see this team is playing better now. My hope is that ultimately the Atlanta Dream makes some changes sort of in the offseason to really sort of recalibrate their squad and decide what they want their identity to be and sort of make decisions from there. I think the fact that Letitia Amihir is a player who actually does have a lot to offer. She barely ever plays. Haley has been playing out of position ever since she's been with the Atlanta Dream. Not that she would say it, but she has been. You have a player like a Cheyenne Parker-Tyus who is really, really good, but her and Tina Charles do not mix. They don't work together. They don't work together. So yes, this team is better, but this team is confusing in that I don't know what the identity is of this team. I don't know what the goals are for this team. I'm not even sure if the coaching staff will still be here next year. It's so much up in the air. And so I actually think it's okay that this team decided to not make any changes, because it's sort of like, why? You're just sort of in this limbo. Yes, you're better. Yes, you're playing better, since we're back now, mainly because of health. But there's just so many miscues and missteps, I feel at least, that's sort of hindering this team from actually doing well in the WNBA consistently, I should say. So that's sort of my thoughts right there. I'm very curious to hear what you all have to say about that. I'm very much interested. Bima says Haley was so good at Stanford. Yes, and that's the thing. And I feel bad for Haley, because I'm just like, man, Haley's really good. Like, oh my goodness. If Haley Jones was on the Chicago Sky, I'd be so excited. I would be so excited, because she's really good. She's a really good player. She can score. She can make good decisions on the floor. She has game. But if you put her on the wrong position consistently, she looks awkward. She looks confused. She makes mistakes, and then she doesn't look good. But she's really good, guys. I just yeah. I just don't get it. So, but yeah, I really like Haley, and I want to see the Stanford Haley back. Like, I really do. I really do. I really do. Yeah, yoga. Yeah, I do. I need to do a video. I need to do a video about Tina Charles and how great she's been. Oh, wait. I didn't cover the Sparks. Oh my goodness. No. Crap. How did I miss the Sparks? Oh my goodness. I did this whole thing and oh my God. I didn't cover the Sparks. No. I did not cover the Sparks. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I don't know how I did all this about all these other teams and I forgot to talk about the Sparks. Well, I do apologize for that. I didn't even write out talking points for the Sparks. Why didn't I do that? Thank you for that super chat asking me that question because I don't know. I don't know why I didn't cover the Sparks. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. I mean, off the top of my head, because I don't have a write up about them. But they didn't make any changes as well at the trade deadline. Ultimately, I think that's fine. Man, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll try to add it into a future live stream. I don't want to just talk off the cuff without like having like a whole bunch of research and whatnot. And I don't know why I covered all these teams but not the Sparks. And I thought I did, but I guess I never did. So yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, that's the stream. That's the stream. That's the stream about the WNBA trade deadline, and how it has passed and talks about what happened. Yeah. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. I thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Sorry, I missed a lot of chat activity early on. As always, I'll go back and take a look at what y'all got to say after the stream is over. But I really do thank y'all so much. Zola says the Sparks are not relevant. That's why I could have forgot. No. It's I don't know why I forgot them. I just did. I'm sorry, Sparks fans. I am so sorry. I am sorry, Sparks fans. But yeah. Anyway, that's it. I appreciate y'all's support. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. If y'all could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, that'd be awesome. Hit that subscribe button. Tell somebody that the stream happened and share it with somebody. In case people are not aware about what's happened in the for the trade deadline and like whatever. Let them know to watch this, with the exception of LA Sparks. See you later, Ice. Thank you so much for joining. And I'll do your mascot thing in the future for sure. Diamond plays for Minnesota. She plays for Minnesota. Zola says Sparks have been tanking since the start of the season. Well, I mean, if they are, they're doing a really good job of it. If they are tanking, they are doing a very good job of it. All right. Thank you so much, Lindy, for rocking with me. Thank you, Isabel. Now, guys, have a great rest of y'all day. Be kind to someone. Be respectful to people. And guys, I will see you all very, very soon. Guys, I'll have a stream tomorrow. Tomorrow I have a stream where I will be covering. What game am I covering? I'm covering a game tomorrow. Let me see what game I'm covering so I can go through that right now with you all. I will not be covering any of the other games. There's another game that's happening tonight. I'll be watching it myself, but I won't be doing live stream play-by-play. I figured it was an either or. I could either cover the trade deadline or do play-by-play. So I was like, oh, this is probably going to be more valuable for people. So guys, tomorrow I will be covering the New York Liberty versus the Dallas Wings. Tomorrow, that game is at 6 p.m. Central Time. I will also be covering on Friday the Connecticut Sun versus the Chicago Sky. That game is at 6:30 Central. And on Saturday, I'll be covering the Indiana Fever versus the Minnesota Lynx. On Sunday, I will cover the Chicago Sky versus the Las Vegas Aces. And then that night, Sunday night, I will cover the Dream versus the Fever. So that's go to the schedule, guys. Y'all can, I actually already scheduled those live streams already, so y'all can check those out. If y'all are ever curious about my future live streams, you can usually, the play-by-plays, I will try to post those well in advance, so y'all could see those there. But yeah, that's it, guys. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your day. And I will see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.